Hello everybody, Mike aka the Magico13 back with episode 4 of my lightly buttered KSP Let's Play. This is a continuation of the last episode where we took a Kethane miner to the moon, and now this is that Kethane miner, and this is Patler Kerman trying to jump on top of it and me continuously failing. So, a couple things I'd like to announce. First off, I have a new headset. If my voice sounds kind of weird, I'm trying out the noise cancellation of the microphone, and Patler Kerman is so excited to be standing right there. So I'm trying out the noise cancellation, and I'm not sure if I like that or not, but it gets rid of that really annoying static in the background, but also makes my voice sound kind of strange. If you're wondering, it is the Turtle Beach Air Force Z11, so it's not a particularly expensive headset, but it's a lot better than the kind I was using before, which was my girlfriend's, and I don't actually know what they were, but they were like fold-up travel headset, and it was extremely painful to wear after a while. These ones are nice because they're over the ear. So that's the first announcement, and the second announcement is that the channel has over 100 views on all of the videos combined, which I think is pretty cool. So here's what we actually came here to do, is mine Kethane, convert it, and see how that works. So what we just did, if you were watching, which I'm assuming you were, was converted some of the Kethane that we were mining into liquid fuel, and now we are doing the same with the oxidizer. That green thing in the middle of the stack is a Kethane converter. It's the smaller one. There's a larger one that fits on the 2.5 meter diameter stack. This is a 1 2/4, 1 1/4, 1.25. So yeah, this one is a little less efficient, but we're going to be completely on the Kethane deposit the whole time, and also it's going to get destroyed when we update to 0.21 anyway, so I'm not really caring about how wasteful we are about it. And as you can see, there's 321,000 units of Kethane, and we at most will only take about 4,800, so there's plenty of Kethane left over. Right now I'm just taking some pictures of the makeshift base that we have going here. All of this will be left behind except the miner that we are hoping to take all the way back to Kerbin with the Kethane samples intact. And here I'm just deploying the drills to get an action shot. Which, honestly, I like this picture. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I found out that even though I'm not partnered with YouTube, I can now use custom thumbnails in the videos, so those will be coming soon, which is nice because right now it just picks 3 random spots and I have to choose the image that looks the best. But yeah, if I can actually upload my own images, that'll be so much nicer. I just tested that, and that does actually work. So we have this decoupler that I was just highlighting over, which has the science probe attached to it, and I believe, yes, I'd go and decouple this. We're going to be leaving this behind as well, and it has its own RTG for power, which you can see sticking out of the bottom. We're going to leave this on the moon to do scientific research while we're not here, just monitor the area. Watch that decoupler. Or, yeah, stack separator. Just watch it. I know it's just bouncing around, but there. For whatever reason, it explodes. So yeah, so now we're turning on all the instruments. So you can see there's substantially less gravity here, and the temperature is negative 0.03 and rising. I'm not sure what units that's supposed to be. If it's Celsius, that's not too bad. It's definitely not Kelvin, because you can't have a negative Kelvin, although I've actually seen some things saying that people have gotten to negative Kelvin, which doesn't seem possible given it's supposed to be absolute zero. I haven't read about it too much, but that's something we can discuss in the comments if you desire. Speaking of which, before I was cut off in my last video, I was trying to say if you have any suggestions for mods, or you want to send me a flag, or you want to send me new artwork. My profile picture really needs redone, because that was just a random picture I could find. I have some better ones now that I might use. But yes, so if you've got anything that you want to send me, I suppose the easiest way would be to contact me through YouTube. I don't entirely know how you'd go about that. I know you can leave a comment on the channel or leave a comment on the video. That's easier because I can reply directly to that comment, I do believe. So that's the easiest way. If I get a bunch of submissions, then I might set up a Gmail account or something to accept those, but I don't really see a reason to do that yet. So, you know what, if you have something you want to send to me, just let me know and we can work it out. Patler Kerman right now is just going around investigating everything at the base before we decide to leave. I think, yeah, I get one picture here of everything. Oh, so if you're wondering about how to get the camera to shift like that, you need a mouse that has a scroll wheel. There might be other ways to do it, but the way I know how to do it is to press the scroll wheel down, aka the middle mouse button, and then while holding that, just move the mouse and it will adjust your camera. I apparently am really bad at controlling Kerbals on the moon, because I just ran him into the rocket a couple times. But yeah. And to reset your view, I do believe double-clicking that middle mouse button is all you have to do. I just found that out not too long ago. I'm not currently able to test that, but I'm pretty sure that it's double-click the middle mouse button to reset your view back to normal. So I'm reactivating these engines. They were deactivated because of that weird bug that I found when switching between docking and staging. I'm just double-checking my staging before we go, and quick saving, and we're gonna take off. We've got full Kethane, full liquid fuel, oxidizer, electric charge. That's not really a concern. So yeah, we are off. We are leaving the moon and heading back to Kerbin to bring our samples with us. And originally I start going the wrong way. I want to go this way, I suppose, in the 90-degree direction, and instead I was going in 270 because it was the nav wheel was a little backwards from what I'm used to. So I wasted a little bit of fuel there, but not too bad. And I'm just trying to get my apoapsis up to something in like the 40,000s. For no particular reason, I just know that we won't hit anything then. So I'm going to get that up to 40-some thousand, 43 apparently, and then try to circularize my orbit just to make sure we have enough time to set up a maneuver node to return to Kerbin, and I don't want to have to rush and accidentally crash into the moon, because that would be bad. Crashing is never a good idea. intentional crashing that you can avoid is never a good idea. Well, I suppose no crashing is ever a good idea, but crashing is kind of a important part of this game. Okay, so yeah. So we apparently have used up all the fuel in that center, and we've got most of the fuel in the sides. And at this point, I'm a little concerned that we might not have enough to get back. And for some reason, the liquid fuel mounts near the engines on the GUI are below half, but the liquid fuel and oxidizer in the top right was still above half. So I'm not entirely sure what that was about. So yeah, now I'm just setting up maneuver node to return to Kerbin. I think 36 kilometers. That's in the atmosphere. That'll slow us down. Hopefully we will be able to do an aero braking maneuver, which is where you use the atmosphere to slow you down, but you still remain in orbit. That would be ideal because then we can land as close to KSC as possible. That's what I'd like. We'll see if that actually happens or not. So I line up with my maneuver node. I've got 11 minutes until the node. Figure, why not take Patler here and have him do some EVA operations while around the moon? He's only gotten to see it really so far while walking around on it, which, I mean, that's pretty cool, and no other Kerbal has been able to do that before, but why not hang out outside of the ship for a little while? Take some pictures, because I had nothing better to do this episode other than to take lots of pictures. So yeah, he's just investigating the ship. Now he's staring at the moon, and that big black crater is where we just came out of. And as you can tell, this is still 0.20, 0.20.2. So the moon doesn't have all the really nice little craters in it that it does in the new version, which I have actually landed there since 0.21, because one of the things I want to work on next is a moon base, except I think I'm going to do a min-miss moon base and do a whole Kethane refinery and all that. Partly because of this mission and realizing how much fuel it takes to even get into orbit. Though there's still a decent amount of Kethane in here. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe we'll do a min-miss moon base, because, well, I've never been to min-miss. The gravity is way lower, so that's ideal for this kind of stuff. So yeah, we get back in, and our maneuver node is gone, so I have to set that up again. But yeah, so I've been doing some testing, just sending stuff to the moon. Well, so far I've only sent one thing to the moon, and I'm using KW rocketry, as was suggested to me by one of my viewers, and I'm also using HOME, H-O-M-E, for the and habitation modules, and I really like them, but I'm also using Ion Cross. Once again, we're working up to our burn now, so I've sped this up even more. I'm also using Ion Cross, so I want to have some sort of life support available, and the home modules have greenhouses, but they don't interact with Ion Cross. Oh yeah, so here's this issue. A time warp all the way up. Even though the periapsis is in the atmosphere, it just lets me go right through it, which was really annoying. I'd spent apparently like an entire day of time warping, so I figured, okay, that's kind of annoying. So I quick loaded back to my last quick save, which is when we were just about, or after we had finalized the burn. So yeah, we're gonna come in this time. I believe it was something like 26 or 30,000 meters. And I'm like, oh, okay, the atmosphere starts at 70. we're going pretty fast. I mean, right now we're going 2200, sorry, not 22,000, 2200 meters per second, and going faster because we're getting closer and closer to the planet and closer to our periapsis. If you haven't noticed already, you go faster at your periapsis and slower at your apoapsis. I think we were only going like 400 or 500 at our apoapsis. And you know what I didn't mention is how when you set up the maneuver node to go from the moon to Kerbin, it's a little counterintuitive, but you have to burn on the side closest to Kerbin, and so you want to exit the moon's sphere of influence on the opposite side from Kerbin. And that's really counterintuitive, except when you realize that you are trying to slow yourself down and reduce your periapsis down. So just think if you were in orbit around Kerbin and the moon sphere of influence wasn't involved at all. If you had a nice circular orbit at like 1,000,000 kilometers or something, and you were at your apoapsis and you wanted to lower your periapsis, you would burn retrograde to lower your periapsis. So the moon is going around Kerbin counterclockwise if you look at it from looking down on the North Pole. Yeah, look, we're going 3 kilometers per second right now. I'm really, really glad we don't have deadly reentry installed yet. And I say yet because I've started using it in my .21 stuff. But I haven't done a return mission. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I might have to do a lot of aerobraking and do it very high up in the atmosphere. Because, yeah. At this point I realize we're not aerobraking, we're landing. We're not even close to our periapsis yet, and our apoapsis is still decreasing extremely fast, and we're just on fire. And the ship has the weirdest balance. Oh yes, so this is pretty cool, and I didn't think to take a picture of this before, but I probably will from the video. We had the sun, the moon, and Minmus all in view as we're burning up in the atmosphere. But yeah, so what I was saying before I got ridiculously sidetracked, to leave the moon's sphere of influence, you want to burn so that you would slow down in relation to the moon's orbit. So if it's going counterclockwise, you want to go more clockwise. You'll still be going counterclockwise, but you want to go more towards clockwise. So I also want to land on land instead of water, because landing in water is actually more dangerous in KSP than landing on land. And we should be able to land safely on land. However, so the only land I could maybe get to is where my intersection with Kerbin currently is. However, we're still slowing down. So, and we're out of fuel now, and we could quickly convert some, but it's really not worth it, and I'm just hoping that the Kethane survives. That's all we really care about. Well, that's not true. We want Patler to survive too, but the Kethane is the real point of this mission. So yeah, so we I tried to burn to maybe get onto this continent, but it's not going to work. And let's open up the FAR tab just to see how fast we're going. We were going about 2.5, or Mach 2.5, which is I don't know, that's pretty fast. Planes have gone faster. I've flown planes in stock KSP faster. I haven't with FAR. With FAR, I can only get up to about Mach 1.5 before it just starts spinning. It'll just do a flat spin and crash. And if I'm below Mach 1.3 or 1.4, but still above Mach like 0.9, then it vibrates a lot. Once I get to Mach 1.4, it's just nice and smooth flight. But if I go any faster, I have issues, and I go any slower, I have issues. So, yeah. So yeah, I open up the parachutes. The first 4 parachutes that are on the Kethane, or yeah, on the radial mounted setup, because the capsule has its own parachute, but in case of emergency, like everything gets ripped off, I want to be able to use the abort sequence, which will decouple the capsule and then fire the parachute. And we're also going very sideways now, which is just kind of weird, but that's because I was burning that way. But it was freaked me out at first. So yeah, as you can see, our Kethane manifolds are still full. We've got 2400 out of 2400, so it looks like we might be able to get some Kethane here. Parachute's open, everything's still attached. The radial setup bent a lot. So just to slow us down some more, I open up the center parachute, the yellow one. And now we're just gliding back down. We're going 7 meters per second. We should be fine. At some point I start doing some physical time warp because watching this is generally pretty boring. I thought about maybe lowering the gears. It doesn't really make a difference. It just something comes in contact sooner. As you can see, where our radar altitude meter on the bottom right, we are less than 100 meters. We do the rest of this without the GUI because we don't really need it to watch us land. There's nothing we can do right now. And everything explodes. Except wait. Only the center part of the stack exploded. All the Kethane survived, and Patler survived. That is mission success. I don't care. You know what? We didn't preserve everything, but that wasn't in the mission statement. The mission statement was go to the moon, mine Kethane, bring it back, survive, and we did it. So yeah, that's successful. Let's take Patler Kerman out, let him go for a swim. Or not. Except, yeah. I, for whatever reason, pressed F and accidentally went back in. So yeah, here we go. That's a successful landing, a successful return trip from the moon. We successfully landed on the moon, mined some Kethane, got here, landed. Now the scientists at KSP can analyze it, and thank you all for watching. I'm Magico13, aka Mike. Yeah.